Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon or good evening depending where you are in the world. It's early afternoon here in Paris and I'm really excited to start talking to you guys. Apologies for the live stream this week, we seem to be having some network issues, but not to worry, I'll be here with a recording. We won't have a Q&A, but any questions you have, save them up and we'll be able to answer them next week. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sharon. I'm a publishing manager who joined Voodoo about 3 months ago. So I heard that you guys were tired of people speaking with French accents, which is why I'm here. So in today's live stream, we will speak about how to start your game. So focusing on the beginning interface of your game. So as the Black Eyed Peas would say, let's get it started. So, if we can get up the slides now. So, before I start, I'd like to remind you all of our must-haves in ultra-casual games. So, this is a reminder of our must-haves, and I'm happy for all of you guys to get tattoos if it makes sure that you memorize these. But sorry, if we go back one slide, there we are. So, snackable, so games that are fast or easy to play. Forgiving, so it means that the games aren't too hard. A player at the beginning can make mistakes and still continue. System 1, so it doesn't take too much mental energy for someone to play the games. Gameplay first, of course. And YouTubeable, which means sexy gameplay, which is easy to understand through a 30-second video. So I want to concentrate on snackability this week because I think starting your game at the beginning and having a good interface when a player starts is very important. So let's delve deeper into snackability. Snackability essentially means that your game needs to be satisfying, it needs to have short gameplay, you make the player want more, and what's important here is that it provides instant gratification. When I'm taking the train to work and the internet cuts out in a tunnel, I want to play a game for a minute and I don't want to wait too long to play that game. And that brings me to the most important slide in our presentation. As a player, I want to be able to understand quickly, play quickly, with a minimum amount of barriers. Now it's so important, I'm going to say that again. As a player, I want to be able to understand quickly, to play quickly, with the minimum amount of barriers. Now what does that mean exactly? So it means that there should be minimum friction when you open your game. Don't overwhelm the player with information, and so keep it simple. I think you should also have some light haptic feedback, so you have the impression that the game is starting and it's dynamic without you even pressing anything. It's also so important to have a simple menu. It's so important that every extra tap that you do without playing is a drop in retention. So, how it's done. Now, hopefully you guys have all played these games. On the left, we have Helix Jump, and on the right, we have Keep It Alive. So firstly, if we look at Helix Jump, I've put up this GIF. It's one of the most super simple games. As soon as you click on the game in your phone, this is a screen that you're presented with. And there's some really cool tricks that this team has used. Firstly, check out the bouncing ball. Immediately, you know what's going on and you understand the gameplay. If you keep the ball bouncing on the purple space, you're safe. You might not be able to see it in this GIF, but another really clever thing the team has done is to make the paint splash slightly bigger every time the ball bounces. So it adds this sort of dynamic video to the screen. Also, check out the tiny balls, the white tiny balls dropping in the background. It almost looks like a dynamic wallpaper that you can have on your iPhone. Satisfying, right? You can't see it in this, but there's also light haptic feedback, even without playing the game. So I would recommend to you guys, open up Helix Jump and feel that haptic feedback. It's really cool. Now on the right, we have another Voodoo game, Keep It Alive. This team has also used the dynamic background. Check out those little stars you can see in the background. If we then look at the tiny little character, what looks like a cat in a ball, you can see that it's floating, right? And you can also see that it's moving slightly from left to right. So subconsciously, we know that even before we play the game, we know that this is something that we need to keep an eye on. This idea is then even further simplified for the user. You have a sort of tutorial that is built into the screen. Now, you should all know by now, hopefully, that we really don't like tutorial levels here at Voodoo. But when the tutorial here is as basic as it is, and it's on the first screen, what's not to love? Now, how it shouldn't be done. Now, you know, we don't like dissing other games, and I'm a massive fan of the game itself. But here's an example when the opening 10 seconds of a game are slightly frustrating, and you haven't even played the game yet. This is a game called Ball Hop AE, which is a super successful skee ball game. Now, I've taken a GIF of the first 10 seconds of this game as I've opened it from my phone. It's slightly sped up, but you'll get it. So I'll wait for it now. And here we go. So I open it up, loading page. Then I press play. So you open the game up, then you have a loading page, and then you have a menu. And then you have to press play. And then you have a loading page. And then you play the game. Remember my example of a player on the train who goes under a tunnel. Now, not only do I not have no internet, but I also have 10 seconds of doing nothing, and it's slightly frustrating. Anyway, guys, I hope you've learned a lot from this presentation. That's the end of it for this week. Hope you guys have a great week, and see you next week.